Hawks lose 4-3 to the Minnesota Wild in Minnesota. We'll wrap it up on the CHGO Blackhawks postgame show. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame show. I'm Jay Zawaski with Mario Cherabassi. Sarah's here as well. Hawks lose 4-3 to the Minnesota Wild in not a bad game, a disappointing game. Frustrating.
They didn't lose. They just ran out of time.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it was, look, the Wild are a better team than they are, and we talked about it in the pregame. The Hawks were catching Minnesota at a good time. They had not been playing well. You knew they were going to come out ready to go, wanting to hit the holiday break, feeling right about things. Yeah. And they did. It was just, I don't know. I don't want to say it feels like a game that got away, but it feels like a game that was there for the taking and they just couldn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, you had two leads in this game, and you weren't able to hold them for very long. And you know, you got the goaltender interference challenge to go your way, rightfully so. Like there were a lot of good things in this game. I mean, you saw a really good game out of the Foligno, Nazar, Donato line. There's a lot of good in this game. It's just, unfortunately, Minnesota was able to get 4 goals, and Chicago, for everything that they pushed at the end, they were able to get one back, even though it was, already out of reach. But it was there's a lot of good to point from this game, but it still stinks to come away with a loss in a game where, there were periods of time where you were like, they can win this game. It's not out of reach for them, but they just didn't have enough to get them over that last step.
Well, let's stay positive to start, because I think it's something we rarely get the opportunity to do or haven't so far this year. You saw in the third period, Minnesota takes the lead. Brock Faber scores, really nice goal from him. Yeah. And they just shut it down. They go 1-1-3 through the neutral zone. The Hawks can't really generate anything for the first half of the period. But then, instead of it just being another 20 minutes until the final horn sounds, they found a way. They adjusted. Mm-hmm. They started making long stretch passes to stretch the Wild out and started getting opportunities to score. Like, they never gave up in this game, and the coaching adjustments were there. It was solid. And I really am pleased with that. There's some things I do different, sure, but the fact that they, instead of waiting till the intermission to make an adjustment, which you can't do after the third, for the record, they figured it out mid-period. Like, all right, here's what they've changed. Here's what we need to change. They did it. And towards the end of the third period, they started taking control, getting scoring chances, ended up outshooting the Wild 10-7 in the third. And I believe at one point, shots were like 5-2, like well into the third period. Yeah. And the Hawks, turned it around and started to adjust. And I like that Anders Sorensen kind of mixed some things up. You saw Korchinski out there with Jones. You saw Vlasic and Jones together. You saw him trying things in real time situationally. Yeah. We're down a goal. We got to put our best players out there together. Who cares if they haven't been together the whole game? 5 best over the boards.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, and a number of times, again, like we have been seeing the last couple of games, like Bedard was skating with Reichel and Maroon more often than not. I think the adjustments to try and like run with teams is a big thing, rather than not adjusting for the fact that you want to stay within your own system, your own structure. Like, you're adjusting to the game. So I did like to see that, and it looked like it gave the team a little bit of jump in those situations. Like, you had the result that you were looking for. So yeah, I mean, it's good to have these. It's good to have options like we can load up Vlasic and Jones together in a pinch to try and push for more offense. Like, it's good to have those options available to you in those situations. It's just you come away, and I know someone said in there, a disappointing loss means you had expectations of a different result, but like, it's disappointing in that as the game went on, it wasn't so far away from you.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Minnesota got out to a 3-0 lead and then they tried to fight their way back in and just never made it close. Like,
yeah,
like they were able to get the game's first goal, the first legal one again. And unfortunately, as we've seen, has been a plague with this team this season. You can't hold a lead. You don't. Yeah. You cannot play well after scoring a goal. I mean, you looked it up this season. About 18% of goals that they score, they allow one
within 3 minutes.
Within 3 minutes after, like
16 times this season that's happened.
Yeah, and for a team that hasn't scored a ton of goals this year, like, that's substantial.
Yeah.
And especially in a situation where you're scoring goals to take the lead, not just like, oh, we're down 4-1, score a goal to make it 4-2, and then they scored as 5-2. Like, tonight, it happened where it was a goal that you took the 2-1 lead, and then boom, it's back to tied. Like,
right.
it takes all the momentum away from you and puts all the oxygen back into the home arena.
Well, and the frustrating thing there is, you've got Joey Anderson, Pat Maroon, Lucas Reichel, Kevin Korchinski, and TJ Brody on the ice. Is that the line you want on the ice after giving up a goal right away?
It's not the line I'd go to.
Right, exactly. No. And, it was the line that scored was the Foligno, Nazar, Donato line.
Right.
So it's not like the Dickinson line was worn out. You could have thrown him over the board. I just,
yeah,
we can nitpick that all day long, but I don't know. When it's become an epidemic on this team, that's exactly what it is. It's an epidemic.
Yeah.
You got to really think about, and I know Minnesota gets the last change, but just generally, line matchups be damned. We just scored a goal. Our best defensive line is going out there next.
Yeah.
Until the epidemic stops.
Your response line should be out there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even
exactly.
I mean, even if it happened with those guys on the ice a few games ago, I remember watching it and just being like, well, that's the line that's not supposed to allow that to happen. But it's still the line that you go to in those situations. But yeah, I mean, that's a tough one to give up because, like I said, like, you had the 2-1 lead, you had some real momentum there. It's just a kick to the gut.
Yes. All right, do us a favor. If you're just getting in here, thank you. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page and hit that like button for us. We'd appreciate that. If you're catching up on the podcast on Christmas Eve morning,
ooh,
Merry Christmas, first of all. Mm-hmm. Second of all, make sure you are following or subscribed on your favorite podcast app. And as a nice holiday gesture, how about a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify? That goes a long way.
They appreciate it.
We'd really appreciate it. If you want to tell us we suck or you'd like to change something about the show in the comments, in the review, fine. Just make it 5 stars.
Sure.
You could tell me what someone told me on the I'm Fat podcast, that I look like a hedgehog's ball sack.
Oh, okay.
That's what someone told me this week, yeah. So that was nice. If you want to throw that in a review,
was it at least in a 5-star review?
It was in a chat. Which was
okay.
Yeah, it was nice to see.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, whatever you want to say in the review, cool. But just make sure it's 5 stars.
Love
and
that.
The floor is yours. Roast away. We'd appreciate that. All right, we got to tell you about the 4th star of the game nominees. 3 stars, you don't care. They're all wild.
Yeah.
Faber, Spurgeon, Rossi, 1, 2, 3.
Rossi.
Which means
can we talk about him
which means
a second?
Russo voted for the 3 stars of the game.
Sure.
Faber was getting number 1 regardless of how this game went.
Of course.
So here are your nominees: Taylor Hall, 2 assists and 3 shots. Jason Dickinson, the late goal, had 5 hits and won 9 and lost 2 faceoffs.
It's impressive.
Really, really impressive for him. And 50-50. It was a 50-50 final faceoff battle in this game. Credit mostly to Jason Dickinson, who was just eating, as the kids say, at the faceoff dot. And your next nominee, Frank Nazar, an assist, 2 shots on goal, 5 shot attempts. And let's talk about Nazar a little bit here as we're in the positive zone.
His 2 shots on goal, man. Just
they're right there.
Close.
They're
just
right there.
That close, man.
I mean, and I love that he causes a turnover, creates a scoring chance. That led to Tavo almost scoring.
Yeah.
Gustafsson makes a nice save. Tavo gets the rebound. The net's wide open, but he's in kind of a weird position.
It's like
and has to kind of shoot backwards a little bit and just shoots it to the left a little bit.
Yeah.
A game of inches, frustrating. But yeah, Nazar was noticeable. And we talked about it in the pregame show that the message that Anders Sorensen had for him was, hey, be assertive, be yourself, go out there and score. Don't be afraid about deferring to other veteran players. Like, go out there and be Frank Nazar, the Frank Nazar that was in Michigan, the Frank Nazar that's in Rockford. You are the same Frank Nazar, so go play like it. And I think he did. I think this was by far his best game of the year and rewarded by being on the ice before Foligno scored. Marcus Foligno scored the empty netter for Minnesota. Nazar was one of the 6 Hawks on the ice trying to tie the game. Love that. And I feel like if it was last coach, probably not.
It might not have been, yeah. But yeah, I mean, when you have a guy that is playing within that group, that forward trio that's playing well, like, credit to him. He's going to get those opportunities. Looking at natural stat trick here, that line of Nazar, Foligno, and Donato on the ice at 5-on-5 for 12 minutes and 10 seconds. 16 shot attempts, 4 against 9. 9 shots, 4 against 4. And they were on the ice for 1 goal for and none against at 5-on-5. So they were head and shoulders the best forward group for the Blackhawks in this game. And, it's great to see Frank Nazar get, his first NHL assist on a scoring attempt that gets saved, like really close. Great pass from Nick Foligno, goes cross crease. Gustafsson gets a save on it, and Foligno taps it in. And then, he had the breakaway chance that tries to go 5-hole, and Gustafsson again makes a big save. But really good to see Nazar getting those opportunities, because through the first 5 games, it really felt like there were little flashes of it, but it wasn't translating to, he's getting chances, like he's getting higher quality chances. And tonight, though, he had 2 very high quality, high danger chances, like right there, right in front of the net. So that's a positive step for him. Hopefully this is a game that he takes with him through the break into the game against Buffalo and can snowball some positive momentum that way.
Chicago Cyclone in the chat asked if Nazar is a permanent NHLer or is he going to go back to Rockford for another stint. I think he will go back to Rockford maybe one more time.
I don't know.
Until the deadline, maybe.
I mean,
what are you going to do with Craig Smith when he comes back?
Well, Joey Anderson has
Anderson, you got to wait. You got to send down.
Go to Rockford or go through waivers again. I'll have to look it up, but I mean, he went through waivers like 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. And you have 30 days to.
I'll look it up on Twitter because I'm sure he hasn't been tweeted about very often.
You can do that. So I mean, if Craig Smith comes back and Joey Anderson goes down, your only forward scratch is still Philip Kurashev. And are you putting Philip Kurashev in over Craig Smith, over Frank Nazar? Like, maybe you have a discussion over Craig Smith. Sure, I'm open with that. But at this point, with what you've seen out of Philip Kurashev this season and what you're seeing from Frank Nazar, like, I'd much rather see Frank Nazar getting those opportunities than Philip Kurashev. If you want to put him in, to that 4th line spot with where Craig Smith was and Joey Anderson's been playing with Reichel and Maroon, and see if Reichel, Maroon, and Kurashev do anything, fine. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. But if you're putting Philip Kurashev back in over Frank Nazar, I think rightfully so, we all would lose our minds.
Yeah. By the way, December 8th was the day that
he's 15 days. So he's got 15 more days before he either has to report to Rockford or go through waivers
again.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, okay.
Yeah, he's not gonna get claimed. It's fine. He's playing 4 minutes a night. Like, you're not showcasing him in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, there's no worry about that. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be mad if Frank Nazar goes down. I'm just starting to see less of a logical path for him to go back.
If it's up to me, I'm keeping him here.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got no problem with it. And like, what the luxury, air quotes, of starting the season off like ass is that the games don't matter. And it's a matter of finishing in the wherever you want to slot out in the bottom 5, that's where they're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'd rather have Frank Nazar here learning at the NHL level instead of stiff-arming people in Rockford and putting up 3 points a night and not really learning anything.
Yeah, I think he's done that. Like, and I think it's good now for an opportunity for him, especially since it's not like, he's not sinking in this opportunity. Like, he's definitely like finding his footing. It's taken a few games, but that's fine. Like, that's still a guy who is a few weeks short of his 21st birthday. Like, it's going to, take some time for him to acclimate and get up to the NHL speed. Who had the best blue/purple/green line tonight?
I do, but for the purposes of the show, I'll say I don't.
It was Frank Nazar.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He was the top guy. Alex Vlasic was number 2. Nick Foligno number 3. So, I mean, look, like the eye test tonight said that that was a big game. That was like an establishing game this season. I want to see what he can do against Buffalo, who thankfully thankfully beat the wheels off of the Islanders tonight. So they didn't have all that angst pent up for their post-holiday game against
Shout
the
out
Blackhawks.
Sean DePaz.
Yeah.
Nice win.
It was a great day for Sabres hockey for him. Yes.
All right. If you're not done yet, hit that like button. We're going to hit your super chats if we have any coming out of break. If you want us to read your comment, make it a super chat. We guarantee we'll read it, even if it's for 99 cents. Back in a moment with more on the CHGO Blackhawks postgame show.
And hey, if you watched the game tonight and you saw your uncle in the Iowa cap behind Kelly Chelios just being a chill dude, then you were watching the CHSN broadcast on the Chicago Sports Network, the new home of the Blackhawks, Bulls, and White Sox games. CHSN is broadcasting more than 300 live games per year across the Blackhawks, Bulls, and White Sox, and features a full lineup of original Chicago-focused content. They are Chicago-based, Chicago-built, and Chicago to the creamy center core. And they bring it to every corner of Chicago across our 77 great neighborhoods and beyond. At CHSN, Chicago comes first. Visit chsn.com for more info on how to watch Bulls, Blackhawks, and White Sox games all season.
And are you a young man?
Yes.
Who wants to travel the world?
Once I was.
And then you're at the dance. You meet the woman of your dreams, but then your dad up and dies. And then you got to take over the family building and loan. And every time the opportunity comes for you to go travel the world, which is all you've ever wanted to do, it keeps getting taken away from you and taken away from you over and over again. And then one day you've had enough. You're like, damn it, I can't take this anymore. I can't live this life anymore. My Uncle Billy just screwed the business over. Well, guess what? There's an angel there for you. And it's not Clarence. This time the angel is a nice cold Coors Light, because that's all you need to realize, you know what? It's worth it. All this is worth it. It's all part of the experience. So choose chill and choose a Coors Light, and you and Mary will live happily ever after. By the way, Donna Reed, maybe the hottest woman of all time. Sarah, look her up. Google her. Okay, when the mountains turn blue on your Coors Light, it's cold as the Rockies.
Sure is.
When you embrace a chill mindset and you're ready to go back to Mary, it's a good time to choose chill and crack open a Coors Light. It's mountain cold refreshment. As we said, get yourself some Coors Light right now. Go to CoorsLight.com/CHGO hockey. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. And I have to say, the first time I saw It's a Wonderful Life,
I was just about I watched that movie last night.
And Donna
nice.
Reed pops
Yeah.
up on the screen, I gasped.
We love
I went-
Mary.
My God, stunning. And then every time I see that movie, I have the same reaction. The first, come on, dance with my kid's sister. She's dying for it. I'm like, who's this going to be? Who's this old hag? And it's Donna effing Reed in her prime. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
whew. Sorry. Okay, I'm back. I'm here.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, Coors Light immediately.
That's a good one. Yeah, I gotta, man, I'm very far behind on my classic holiday movies this year.
Any super chats? Wow.
Bunch of Grinches.
Wow, Merry
and
Christmas, everybody.
Scrooges in the chat there.
Jeez.
Quote here via Ben Pope from Frank Nazar. Ben teased us up saying, Frank Nazar was good tonight. A team best 75.4% expected goals ratio.
Damn.
And an 11-5 advantage in scoring chances when on the ice. From Nazar, quote, I came back after that Calgary game Wanting to do better and not happy with myself. Tried to do my best today. Well, Frank, your best was pretty darn good.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that's a guy who's not just happy to be here.
Yeah.
And you get, that's always like Nazar and but Connor Bedard too is a guy who's not satisfied with good enough.
Right. Yeah.
He wants to be great.
Yeah. And I think that's a thing that can rub off on the young group from guys like Nazar and Bedard, those guys that have those, highly skilled games, high expectations of themselves, and those big levels of confidence in them that can spread across a young group.
Erica says y'all are forgetting that the Hawks are playing a very good team, and you mentioned a comment earlier that being disappointed means you had an expectation. They're true. Erica's right. The Wild are a good team. However, they've been not playing well. They've been outscored 13-2 in their last 3 games. They're reeling. Things had not been going well for them. So if there was a time to catch the Wild at the right time, the Hawks have been playing pretty well. The Wild have been playing pretty poorly. It seemed like if there was an opportunity, this was it.
Yeah.
And it passed by. And I think that's where the disappointment comes from. And look, you're a shot away. Yeah. You're a shot away from tying this game.
If Nazar's open chance that he had on Gustafsson, if that goes in, it's a different game. I agree. The Wild are a better team. That's undeniable. But you were right there.
Yeah.
You were tied going into the third period. Again, it keeps padding that stat that might mean something, might mean nothing. I don't know, but it's a stat that they were either tied, ahead, or within 1 goal going into the third period again, like for the 32nd time in 35 games. Like they they lead the league in empty net goals against. Like, this is a team that, yes, keeps coming up short. That sucks. But they're right there so much this season. Like, the NFL always does that stat. If one score games go the opposite way, here's what the standings would look like, and the Chiefs would be like 1-12 this year. So like it's that frustration of like this team's results could be so much better given 1 or 2 different bounces of the puck in half the games. Like, we might be talking about a team that's just outside the wild card in our wildest dreams, but unfortunately, the reality is they don't have that extra gear against these teams like the Wild to put themselves over. They can try, and they fought back against Calgary in the last game, like down 5-1, and you get it back to 5-4.
Yeah,
and you have a chance to tie it with an empty net. Like, you're right there so often, and it was just like tonight is kind of like the microcosm of the season. Like, you get a lead, you lose it. You fight back, you get it back, you lose it again. And you're running right there with a team that's better than you.
Right.
And then they just pull ahead.
Yeah. And that's where the disappointment comes, because you're saying it's right there, and you're talking about how earlier in the year it was that way, but it just feels different over the last 10 games.
Yeah.
Where they're in every game they play. There were a lot of those games early on where, because of the way they played, they were able to keep games close that they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
This is different. This is they're trading punch for punch with good teams.
Right.
And so I think that's where it feels a little bit different, where like, we got outshot, 50-20, but it was 2-1.
Right. And you lose 2-1. Yeah,
right. Whereas this is a neck and neck game. Mm-hmm. And it easily could have gone the other way because the Hawks were hanging in there with a better team. And they're better. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. But
you'd rather go down swinging than just lose a fight, but you just didn't get your butt kicked.
Yeah. We got to talk about Connor Bedard's goal.
It was very nice.
Was it intentional or was it not?
I think he absolutely made that move on purpose. I think he's trying to look off the goal. He's trying to look off Gustafsson. Mm-hmm. And he does kind of that like the pseudo like Kucherov, where he kind of thinks he fumbles it, but it's because he goes for a poke at the end there to kind of like shovel the backhand opportunity there. And then the reaction after the goal, he's not like looking back like, wait, did that go in? Like, he was like, no, I meant to do that. I'm Connor Bedard.
I want to believe. I want to believe. I really do.
He planned that whole thing.
And around Christmas time, we believe more than ever. But
yeah.
The fact that he like grimaced after the puck got away from him and he tried to like get it again.
He's just selling it. He's just a good actor.
All right,
He's a great actor.
I'm in.
You've seen him in those.
I buy it. You're
Those
right.
commercials for the NHL. He's a great actor.
100% intentional. What I do like, though, is all the league accounts and, Bar Down and all those are like, look at this beauty goal by Bedard. Look at how he deked him out. Like, yep, that's it. That's what he meant to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely intentional. That's exactly what he had in mind.
100%.
Yeah. I'm looking through some more quotes here. Andre Sorensen. When the game is on the line, when it's a 2-2 game, you've got to be willing to go and play offensively. I thought we sat back a little bit too much there. We did that in the home games we played, but these last 2 road games, not so much.
Yeah, I mean that's a product of the first 30 games of this season. What these guys have been, conditioned to do in the system is, when there's an opportunity there, don't let it slip. Like the fear of letting it slip away, rather than the aggressiveness of going and taking it.
Yeah, I didn't see it as them sitting back. I saw them as being pushed back. Like every time the Hawks, for the first half of the third period, when the Hawks had the puck in their own zone, they were getting pressured like crazy and, forced out. And Darren Pang said it, like they're trying to break it out.
Yeah.
But they've got no time and space to do it because Minnesota's just, they're forechecking hard. But then once the Hawks start moving the puck, it's everybody back.
Mm-hmm.
And good luck. Like it's a very, very difficult system to bust, the 1-1-3.
Right, yeah.
When you're trying to get into and really when you get to the red line, red line, or the blue line, it becomes 0-0-5.
Right. Yeah.
Because they're just meeting you there saying, come and get it past us.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the coaching adjustments are what really stood out to me in this game. They were noticeable. They made a difference. And I think, the players like that too, where it's not just like, well, let's just keep beating our head against the wall and hope we get a result.
Right. Yeah.
The adjustments have been there, and I'm just thinking about this team now with Craig Smith in the lineup and not Joey Anderson. Nothing against him, but Craig Smith's a better player.
And it's clear that Anders Sorensen doesn't.
Yeah,
he would rather not be playing Joey Anderson than having him out there because his ice time is, you can count on one hand. Like any opportunity he can to get Connor Bedard over the boards to play with Maroon and Reichel, he's doing it. Like I'd imagine when Craig Smith is healthy again, he'll take that spot. If not, it's Kurashev or whatever. But I imagine those guys will get more than 5-6 minutes a night than Joey Anderson is. So yeah, I think Sorensen will have a guy in there that he trusts a little bit more.
Joey Anderson had 7 shifts in this game.
Thanks for coming out.
5 minutes and 12 seconds of ice time, and still managed a -1. It's
yeah.
like, I don't want to bag on Joey Anderson. Like,
there's no reason to. He's
right. It's a guy that every organization wants to have, someone they can bounce between the American League and the NHL that can come in and not hurt you.
Yeah, in a pinch.
But he's not a guy who's an everyday NHL player. He's just not. And I think Craig Smith, even if you just swap those two,
that's an improvement.
and you got Maroon Smith and Reichel together again, fine. I think it was Giggity's in the chat said, though, and I know we've been talking about this. Ben Pope wrote about it, that it's just time to get Reichel moved up a little bit. I really liked Reichel's game today. Got an assist on the Dickinson, the third goal of the game, but just like not afraid to take contact, not afraid to dump the puck in.
Yeah.
Just looked really effective. This almost sounds crazy, but like it almost feels like he's playing too fast, considering who he's on the ice with sometimes.
Yeah,
like
sometimes.
he's moving so quickly.
Well, and that's why having Craig Smith was nice, because even though Craig Smith is a little bit older, like he still has some speed to his game, whereas Maroon doesn't, to keep up with him. So when Bedard's out there, yeah, it's great. Like it's great to have those two playing together. I just don't know where you put him exactly.
That's kind of the thing.
Because if you're putting Bedard with Hall and Bertuzzi, fine. Let that keep rolling. Donato, Nazar, and Foligno was really good tonight, so no reason to change that up. Dickinson, Mikheyev, Tavo, that's been pretty good. So I don't know, unless you're forcing something to change, you kind of just roll with what you got at this moment. Until something is so glaring that you're like, we need to change this up, then I think that's when you have an opportunity to either move Reichel up, switch something around. I'm not sure, but I mean, I think at this point you want to let Bertuzzi, Hall, and Bedard go a little bit and with Nazar, like he's a guy that's kind of got to play in that top 6 mentality, a top 6 role. So I don't know. Maybe you could move Foligno or Donato down depending on which guy is going and which guy maybe isn't, and put Reichel up with whoever stays on that second line with Nazar. Like, I think that could be okay because Foligno and Donato are guys that could play on the 4th line traditionally. But at this moment, I mean, you could make that change. I feel like, I don't know. You can make that change. I'm all for it. Like you said at the beginning of the show, like, the results of games really don't matter. They're not pushing for anything. So if you want to give Reichel an opportunity, you're not going to lose anything trying to do it.
No, you're right. All right, we got to hit the break zone again. Do us a favor. We have under 100 likes. That's not, come on. We're right before Christmas. We got 209 people watching at least. So hit that like button for us. We would love and appreciate that. We are going to get to your super chats because now they exist on the other side of the break zone here on CHGO Blackhawks. And oh boy, as those family gatherings roll around, you might need a little something to adjourn to another dimension.
A little help.
If just for a little while. And our friends at Verilife Cannabis Stores, they're your top destination for the best product selection, featuring all your favorite brands at unbeatable prices. So when you and your cousins go for a walk, ...
The post meal trip around the block.
Yes. The award-winning lineup.
Pre-meal or pre-walk.
Pre-walk,
Yeah,
post-meal, pre-dessert, post-dessert, however many walks you need, Verilife's got your back with their award-winning lineup of Matter products. Matter offers a curated line of premium flower strains and infused gummies crafted to deliver consistent quality and distinctive effects for every preference. Magnitude distillate vapes deliver power in every pull, combining high potency with smooth, flavorful hits for an elevated experience. Mention the code CHGO25 in-store and receive 25% off one of these amazing products today. And if you do place your order online, when you go in to pick it up, mention that code and you'll still get your discount. You don't have to worry about plugging it in online. Just walk in, pick up your order. They scan your driver's license, whatever they do. And you say, hey, I want to use the code CHGO25. They'll say, great. They'll enter it and you'll save 25% on one of those items. So do that at verilife.com. or a Verilife cannabis store near you.
Yes, the Christmas tree is not the only green thing getting you in the holiday spirit this year. Hey, did you know that ComEd can help business owners save money by becoming more energy efficient? Jay?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good.
But we should remind people who may have forgotten.
I'm glad you remembered.
Yes, we should remind people who may have forgotten that ComEd does that.
Yes, it's their energy efficiency program, which can help find up to 35% in energy savings for business owners.
Well, I know what a business should do. But Mario, maybe you should remind them.
I will.
You're first reader.
All they got to do is sign up for a free facility assessment at comed.com/biz.
It seems like, despite all of our reminders, that the audience is forgetting the website.
And all our efforts wasted. Yes, don't forget the website. It's an easy one.
Yes.
ComEd.com/biz.
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 Sarah?
ComEd.com/biz.
Good job.
Perfect.
See, Sarah knows.
Sarah
She's
knows it.
listening, sort of.
Terms and conditions do apply. Offers are subject to change. Actual savings will vary by customer's energy usage and rate, and the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is funded in compliance with state law.
All right. Super chats. Let's do it. Kevin with a $2 super chat says, screw Mr. Potter. Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
And Mark, just Mark, says a little something for my guys. Merry Christmas to all. Sorry, Mario. Bedard's goal was a beautiful mistake. Coincidence. All be well. That's $5 from Mark, just Mark.
That's I choose to believe he did it on purpose. If it was a mistake, whatever, it still counts as a goal.
That's fine. That's fine. We also have Anthony Tony, who's here all the time, asking what everyone's cooking for Christmas Day. What's the plan for the tier bossies on Christmas?
The plan is go to my family's house and let them handle all the cooking Christmas Eve.
Smart.
Christmas Day, we're going to do, what are our plans? Oh, we have, we're staying at home in the morning, doing a little Christmas breakfast at home. And then we are going to my wife's sister's place Christmas Day in the like later afternoon, evening. Again, they will be handling all the food prep. I'm just there to eat and be merry.
That's perfect. That's a good job.
Halfway to Santa. I just got to get the beard a little whiter, but I'm patient on that.
Getting there.
I'm patient on that.
Getting
It can wait.
People have been asking me, like, are you growing your beard out? Like, yes, because every time I shave, more of it comes back gray. It's very frustrating.
Just for men.
I've got tomorrow at my in-laws, we do a traditional Slovakian Christmas, so Marian Hossa comes over.
Oh, nice.
Well, we're hoping that happens. I keep inviting him and he doesn't show up. But we do kapusnica, which is mashed potatoes with like a sauerkraut mushroom gravy.
Interesting.
Then people go for walks because they have to fart it all out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But we do no meat. It's just fish. So we'll have some smoked salmon. We'll have some pierogies there. So that sort of stuff. Very, very good. And then Christmas morning, go to my parents' house. We're going to have a little brunch, cinnamon rolls, egg casserole. Then I'm hitting up my mom's side's cousins. And then the three of us are just going to spend the night together and go see some Christmas lights, maybe get some Chinese food.
Nice.
Something like that. So that's kind of been a new tradition for us on Christmas Day, is to have that night where the three of us can just kind of chill out big time. Maybe we'll go see a movie.
I always enjoy having the Christmas Day, either morning or night, depending on what you do. But Christmas Day being like just that immediate family, mom, dad, kids, like keeping it close to the vest. Because it seems like Christmas Eve is like the bigger everyone gets together kind of thing. And some people do, day after Christmas with all, different responsibilities and all that. But yeah, I do like having that Christmas Day be like just your immediate family. It's nice.
And Lord Hossa in the chat says, I've been notified. So, all right, maybe we'll see. We will see Hossa.
You can give him his button back after all these years.
Yeah, we had to fish it out of the urinal to get it for him. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Christmas is my favorite holiday, and as parents get older and traditions change, it's nice to start some new things while maintaining what you can of the old. So.
Traditions is an interesting thing. My wife and I have kind of been talking about it since our daughter's been born, really. And like you say, like, oh, we have these traditions, we do it every year, and sometimes they can get stale. I know over in the last few years, like. Hope my family's not listening to this, but some of the like, oh, traditional things that we do, it's kind of just like you do it because you've always done it, but like there's a little bit of that like, all right, we're doing it, yep, kind of thing, where you don't want to lose that feeling of it. So it's just like a mentality around like holiday traditions is like, these are things that we enjoy doing. If we get to them to the T every year, do the same thing over and over because we enjoy it, that's wonderful. But if you say like, oh, usually we do this, but we might get to it, we might not. But if we do get to it, you're not hammering down on like we have to do it. We have to. Yeah. It's like we usually like to do this. Things lined up, we did it. We all had a great time. Like it's a different way to kind of like look at traditions, because then it also opens up your holidays for like new things that you've maybe have never done before, that becomes something that you like doing.
Yeah. And anytime spouses are added in, things change. You gotta have other negotiations,
other families, and
of who gets what.
My wife and I, gosh, we've been together since 2008, going to each other's families' holidays. So there were years where we would do both sides of the family the same day, like 2 Easters in a day, 2 Thanksgivings in a day, 2 Christmas Eves in a day. Like it was a lot. So over the years, we kind of started to find the schedule of like one family one day, one the other, and you make it work.
You have to, because if you don't do that, then everyone's miserable and no one's having fun, and you're just stressed out the entire day. And then you go to Verilife and crack open a Coors Light.
Yeah,
that's how you handle
all
that.
Those things.
All right, back to the old hockey pucks before everyone yells at us. But how about this? No power plays for the Blackhawks. 1 power play for the Wild.
1 penalty the whole game.
It seemed like the refs were looking to get out of there a little bit too. Not that there was anything crazy egregious, but there were 2 or 3 things both ways that could have been called that weren't.
There was, and I will say the actual call, soft.
It was soft. It was a penalty.
Like, yeah, okay.
But if you're calling a game like they're calling it, that's not the one you call.
Like, okay, Connor Bedard kind of got in Marco Rossi's way, but also stay on your feet. Like, come on now. Like, and I, have a target on Rossi now, confirmed Pudwack. The way, like the little,
got a very punchable face.
The punch that he threw on Bedard, and as Darren Pang pointed it out, or it might have been Rick Ball, or they both had the same thought, but Rossi is punching Bedard in the face, and he's holding his stick with the butt end hanging out, so he's basically like almost coming across his face with the butt end of his stick.
It's like brass knuckles. It's the same idea.
It's like super dangerous. So he gives the little shoulder in the chest to Bedard, and Bedard's not going to take it from Marco Rossi, who, as everyone says, Connor Bedard's too small. Marco Rossi is smaller than Connor Bedard. Yeah. He says without looking at his actual measurements. Don't worry about it. So he gives him a shove back, and then the punch in the face with the stick, like. Alex Vlasic almost mauled Marco Rossi. Like, he's lucky that the ref got in the way enough. And then the Bedard comes across his face and clips him a little bit, and he goes down. Like, that seemed like that was a soft call. And for, like you said, for that to be the only penalty of the game feels ingenuous to the game.
Connor Bedard listed at 5'10", 185, towering over 5'9", 182 Marco Rossi.
Yeah, see? Not even in the same weight class.
There's no way in hell Connor Bedard is 5'10", by the way. I'm 5'10", I'm taller than him.
No.
I'm taller than Connor Bedard.
I would say he's 5'10".
I'm sure he would say that too.
There's been more egregious
all right, next time next time we're in the room and he walks past me.
Well, he's got skates on.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Then do the calculation.
If he's eye to eye with you with skates on, then we have a discussion.
I think that's about. It's pretty close.
Okay,
it's pretty close.
Next time we're in the room,
but he plays big. Damn it.
Say here, Connor, stand back to back with Jay real quick.
Before
you talk to the 20 media that are assembled, do this little thing real quick.
But aside from his smaller stature. He is not a small man.
No.
He is a little fire plug, man.
No, and he's 19. Like, he still has some physical maturing to go. Like, he's going to be solid. He's going to be a solid built guy. And you go back and look at, like, Martin St. Louis, like, he was not a big guy. I think I'd put money that he was smaller than Bedard was or is. And he was thick in his playing days. So I have no doubt that with Bedard's, like, work ethic in the gym, like, he's going to get to that point where he's not going to be pushed around.
Yeah. Lebowski 5 says Bedard is listed at 5'9.5" by NHL Central Scouting. That's the official measurement. And Lord Hosa asks, is Bedard taller than Kane? They look the same size, at least on the ice. Kane looks taller because of his forehead. He's got what I've got going on, where it's just like, for whatever reason, the forehead keeps going farther back.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a little bit of the Bill Murray and Kingpin situation happening to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't.
Kane
feels bigger than him.
He felt taller
yeah.
than Bedard does, and Kane, I would believe, would be 5'10", almost 5'11".
That seems like a legit 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah. And I've been close to him with skates off, and I'd say, yeah, he's just a little bit taller than I am. I would say I'm 5'9". The most egregious thing was when people would say, like, oh, Alex DeBrincat, he's 5'9". I'm like, the hell he is. He's 5'7" if he's a foot. Like, there's no way he was ever 5'9". He was a small guy.
He's a wee man. Sarah, I just sent you Anders Sorensen post game, so we can get to that a little bit in the show.
Chris T would like to know our playing hockey history.
Yeah, I was. You play more organized than I ever did.
Mm-hmm.
I started playing in high school, but like not an organized.
Just playing with friends,
pickup leagues and stuff like that. And I played goalie, so I didn't know anything was going on. I was just fat enough to deflect pucks.
Just stopping pucks.
But yeah, I've never played like at a big organized level.
Yeah, I played when I was younger. I started late, like I was 9 when I first like started, and everyone around me was better than I was. So my enjoyment when I realized, oh, I'm the worst out here, went downhill. So I didn't really keep with it until I got back into it. I kept skating, but I got back into like actually playing like pickup games and stuff in college, and then in the last few years got back to playing in some rec leagues and stuff. So shout out to the Sunday rec league out at the Crystal Ice House in Crystal Lake.
Okay.
We got playoffs coming up at the beginning of January. So, yeah.
Nice.
Go Bruins.
That sounds fun. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have a choice.
Yeah, that's not good. You should just rebel and say no. You're not.
Well, the teams in the
that.
league are the Bruins, the Stars, the Maple Leafs, and the Red Wings. And they split it last session.
Oof.
Last session we had a full division. This session they said, "Hey, we want an upper division and a lower division between skill levels to kind of even things out." So there's only 4 teams in each division.
Yeah.
So you're playing the same people like every third week. But the competition has been really good. Like each skate is like awesome.
Well, I discovered hockey in the mid 90s when I already had several years of football under my belt.
Yeah.
And had put on the weight required to play football. So learning how to play organized hockey was not really an option for me. It's one of my if I could like go back in time, if I could just like reset my life, it's like the one thing I would change is like as a kid, focus on hockey right away.
Yeah.
Because I like it.
If I had an athletic thing that I would change, it would be don't listen to your friends and play soccer. I am Europeanly built for soccer.
You're like Lucas Reichel.
And I decided I wanted to play like contact sports like football, hockey, played basketball a lot. Like if I had just listened to myself and if I could tell myself you were going to be built like a soccer player, I would have stuck with it.
Yeah. I played on the 8th grade soccer team as a 4th grader and then quit soccer to play football.
Nice.
Now I got fat.
How did you play on the 8th grade team?
Well, there weren't a lot of players.
Okay.
But I was pretty good.
Nice.
I was a good soccer player.
I was on the orange team.
Then I got fat. That's what happens.
That's what happened.
That's how it goes. All right, we're going to hear from Frank Nazar, Jason Dickinson, and Anders Sorensen here in a little bit. But, this is one of those games, man, where it's like there's only so much you can say about it. It just is. It's a better team won. You dropped off a shot short, and that's it. Like I can't imagine anyone's really pissed about this. I can't imagine anyone's up in arms about the outcome or how they played.
Yeah.
Overall, I'm pretty pleased with the 60 minutes that they put together today.
Yeah, I would say they played well and just came up short against a better team, and you were in the game. So I'm not. This isn't flip over a table. Every point matters mentality. It just stinks because it's one that was within reach.
100%. All right, we got to hit the break zone again. Any super chats we'll get to on the other side. And again, we're going to hear from Nazar, Dickinson, and Sorensen coming up here in a little bit on the CHGO Blackhawks postgame show. But we want to tell you about our friends at Prize Picks, the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. This is how you do it. Hawks game, play the Sabres. Next, whatever day that is, Friday. But I don't know. I don't know what day it is. It's a holiday week.
It's Friday.
Friday.
Yeah. It's a watch along, by the way.
Yeah, this is a watch along. That's right. Presented by Coors Light. So you say, all right, I think that Connor Bedard's going to have, they say 1.5 shots on Prize Picks. Say more or less. Okay. Then you combine that. Teuvo Teravainen points, half, more or less. And the more of those you stack and the more of those you hit, the more you win. It's a super fun way to play. You can do stuff as the games are going on. You can combine sports. You can do Bears, Hawks, Bulls, whatever you want to do all over the NFL. Yeah. Whatever you're into, that's what you can do at Prize Picks. It is awesome. We love it. It is a super, super fun way to play daily fantasy sports. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code CHGO to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CHGO to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Shout out to Mark, just Mark, for getting my Office reference.
All right, Mark.
Hey, do you want to get those last-minute holiday gifts for the sports lover or the music lover or the theater lover in your life?
Yes.
Well, check out our friends at Game Time.
Okay.
Game Time is focused on togetherness this holiday season, and that means when you bring people together at live events, the experience is that much better. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for live events even easier. Game Time filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time Picks is a curation tool that makes it super easy to save on sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, theater events, anything that you want to get a ticket to and put your butt in a seat for, Game Time can help you do it. And they have their all-in pricing, which allows you to see the total upfront, no surprise fees at checkout. So the price you're seeing right there when you say, hey, this price on 2 tickets for the Blackhawks home game against the Stars on the 29th. Or them, yeah, back in the day. You can see the total, and then when you get to checkout, that's going to be the same price. You're not going to be surprised when you get there with Game Time. So what you want to do is take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHGO. When you do that, you're going to get $20 off of your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today because what time is it?
Game time.
Game time.
Before we hear from Frankie, Dickie, and Andy, a little out-of-town hockey that is worth noting. With his 3 assists tonight, Sidney Crosby has tied Mario Lemieux for the most assists in Penguins history.
That is impressive.
Now, whatever you think of Sidney Crosby, if it's bad, you're wrong. He came in and was more than he was hyped to be.
Everything and more. Yep.
He was supposed to be this really great goal scorer. He has become one of the game's premier two-way players. He is going to pass Mario Lemieux in assists, and for my money, Mario Lemieux is the most dominant hockey player I've ever seen. In terms of imposing his will on the opponent, Gretzky has stats that will never be broken. Right. No one's ever going to break his point total, and his numbers are astronomical. But in terms of physical domination on top of production, Mario Lemieux is the greatest I've ever seen, and Sidney Crosby is going to pass him.
It's impressive.
It's remarkable. Sidney Crosby is everything he was hyped up to be and more. The dude's a legend, and the more time that goes by, the more I like him, and I hope that people who hated him because of the hype can kind of, we talk about this all the time, narratives.
Yeah.
Can kick those narratives that have been around and look at what he has done. And he has overachieved what he was hyped to be.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
I remember when both him and Alex Ovechkin broke into the league and they had their little, their rivalry for being the young guys, the number 1 picks and, the future of the league and everything and going up against each other. I was an Ovechkin guy, and therefore I didn't like Sidney Crosby. I thought he cried and complained and was a big old crybaby. And as I matured as a person, and as he continued to just dominate in his career, you have to just be in awe of what he's able to do. And he's 37 and playing at above a point per game.
39 points in 36 games.
Like, incredible, and he is the reason that the Penguins have not full on blown it up and gone into tank mode. Like it is because they still have Sidney Crosby producing at the level that he is. If he was following the NHL average, like fall off a cliff once you turn 33, basically, the Penguins would have blown it up years ago because they'd have nothing to hold on to. But because Crosby's doing what he's doing still, they're still holding on to hope that they can squeeze something out of it, and it's just insane what he's doing. He has a legitimate argument for not only of his generation but of all time, like top 5 player.
Sure, it's very hard to argue that. He has never had a sub point per game season. Never.
That's crazy.
Never in his career has he had less than a point per game, which is unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Career totals as of this moment in 1,308 games, 1,653 points. That doesn't include the playoffs, obviously.
He's got to be what, top 10 in league history?
Playoff wise, in 180 playoff games, 201 points.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That's impressive. Three Stanley Cups. Yeah. Let's see where is that? 10th all time. 10th all time in points. He'll surpass Joe Sakic this year. He's 6 points away from catching him for 9th all time, and then 8th is Mario Lemieux. So, I mean, it's within reach.
Yep. All right. Let's hear, before we wrap up the show, Jason Dickinson, Frank Nazar, and Anders Sorensen. I think it goes Nazar, Dickinson, Sorensen. This courtesy of the Chicago Blackhawks.
And I think it was a good effort from our side. I think Sodi kept us in there the whole game, made some big saves. Just letting loose for a shift or two and letting them kind of be able to buzz around in the D zone is something you just can't do against those guys. And seeing it firsthand and not just on TV was pretty crazy. But yeah, they're a good team, and I mean they were looking to get that win before break, and I know that they weren't excited with how they're playing beforehand. So you knew that they're going to show up, and just got to be ready.
Does it feel like a lost opportunity to keep them that close and then not be able to cash in?
Well, I think any game that we lose is a lost opportunity, so I wouldn't say no to that. But I mean they're a great team, and being able to stick in there, and just shows the resilience we have as a group here. And I thought we did a good job today and pushed back when we could. And, I mean, we had our chances too, so it's just executing.
What does that show with that Dickinson goal kind of fighting to the end there?
Shows that we're never going to give up. It's kind of the Blackhawks here. Like, we're going to play it out no matter what the score is, and we're just going to keep going hard. And I'm happy that you got that one in.
Are you happy about your first career assist?
Yeah, of course, but obviously would have felt a lot better with the win.
It seemed like Calgary was maybe a bit tougher game for you, but it seemed like tonight there was a lot of offensive zone time and some good plays. Did you feel like things were clicking a little bit more for you tonight?
Yeah, I just felt a lot better out there, and I don't know, just days in, days out. It doesn't change. Just how you feel that day. So came back after that game, just wanted to do better and not happy with myself. So try to do my best today.
During the break, are you going to reflect on your season to this point, or are you just going to kind of get away from the game?
I think a little bit of both. I mean, we only get a few days, so definitely going to spend some time with family and try to keep hockey out of it a little bit. But definitely look back at those games that I've been able to play and learn from them and be better and hopefully improve from today and keep that going forward.
We just kind of let it slip away a little bit. Going 2-2 into the third period is not a bad place to be on the road, and we give up that one point shot there to make it 3-2, and they're able to sit back in a 1-1-3 and kind of control the pace of the play through the neutral zone and not really let us get in the zone, get any scoring chances. So it's kind of not a position you want to be in.
Is there something the Wild do in particular that makes it tough? I mean, I think that's 14 of 15 and stuff.
I mean, they're a high-skilled team. They cut up a lot. They're D-jump in the rush. They use 4 or 5 guys on the rush at all times. So it creates a lot of havoc and confusion in the D zone because they're moving around so much. And guys like Kaprizov and Zuccarello, they're really good at finding the seams and making that extra play that you think isn't there. They're really confident with the puck to make those plays. So it feels like they're flying around in the O-zone making these plays that normally aren't there, and you're just kind of spinning around looking for what's next.
The Kaprizov line is so tough to hem them in, but is it even more frustrating when you kind of have a gimme like that goal that he had?
Yeah, but like you call it a gimme, whatever, but that's kind of what they do. They're as much as they make that extra play cross seam, they also put pucks to the net and crash. So it's part of their MO. That's why they're so good, is because the puck goes to the net, they crash, they get it, they do it again. They get the puck, they do it again. So it's this repetitive cycle that, yeah, you can call it a gimme, but that's because they know what they're going to do with it, and they're so connected in that play that if the puck goes towards the net, one of us needs to slash through so that there's support to pick up the puck and create the next scoring chance. So I don't think it's necessarily fair to call it a gimme as much as it's a smart play that they understand one another.
I mean, I thought it was a little bit the same story, right? A little bit late again. I thought we were okay, fine, up to 2-2. We got scored on again after we scored, which is not ideal. And then 2-2, I thought we hung in there, and pretty good road game at that point. And then, yeah.
Can you explain what happened on the Kaprizov goal? Did Slocum just kind of lose track of where it was, or think it went in?
Yeah, I think he lost track of it, yeah.
It seemed like it was just kind of tough to break them down once they got the lead.
Yeah.
1-1-3 was just impenetrable. What did you think of pushback?
Well, I like the pushback we scored, right? I thought, when they got into that 1-1-3, we got caught standing still a little bit. So got to have a little bit more motion there.
What do you think of Nazar tonight? It seemed like he had kind of a bounce back game after Calgary.
Yeah, I liked his game a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, had mentioned it feels like the same old story. So how do you change that narrative when you kind of look at things? You need more of a complete game, or what are some particulars that you want to come back after this break addressing?
The biggest thing I think is when the game is on the line, it's a 2-2 game, right? We got to be willing to go and play offensively at the same time. I thought we got sat back a little bit too much there, right? I thought we did that in the home games we played, but these past 2 road games, not so much.
Do you feel like some of that's just kind of breaking old habits that you want them to get more aggressive, and they do that initially, but then once it gets a little bit more adversity, their kind of instinct is to pull back?
Yeah, it's going to be a process for sure, yeah.
But what can you do to kind of counteract that or break this habit?
Oh, we talk about it, work on it, show it. You know, it's like I said, it's going to be a process for sure. It's you know, baby steps. You know, and then unfortunately, these last 2 games were not what we wanted. So we just got to keep getting back to work here.
What do you think about the push at the end? The push at the end and the Dickinson goal.
Good, liked it.
There he is.
Short, sweet, and to the point.
Andrew Sorensen. Thanks to the Blackhawks for use of that post-game video. We appreciate that, as always. All right, before we go, we got to do the 4th star of the game as voted by you, the CHGO Blackhawks audience. Sarah, who is the winner? Frank Nazar is the winner. His first of the year. Hopefully many, many more to come for him. So that's it. All right, we are off until...
Is this his first 4-star?
I think so. Of this season?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. In 6 games? I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. Unless I forgot.
Okay, that's fine.
Certainly possible. All right, we are back on Friday. Hawks and Sabres. We're doing a live watch-along, so we'll be on, what time's the game?
I think it's a 6 o'clock
All right, so if it's at 6, we'll be on at 6. Talk until the puck drops at 6:07, and then be there after. So join us, that watch-along courtesy of Coors Light. And we should take some time out to wish everybody Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. We appreciate your support. We know it's been a confusing and frustrating week here. As confused as you are and frustrated as you are, we feel it too. So support all of our former colleagues. Greg just launched his own thing, so go find that on his socials and support it. He's still here doing his work. So we appreciate your continued support, all you diehards, all you people that are here after every game. Even if you just listen to the podcast or watch and don't interact with us, we see you. We love you. Thank you very much. Just hope you have a nice, healthy, happy holiday.
Absolutely. Ditto.
All right. We'll talk to you Friday for Hawks and Sabres on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.